My name is Britta Engelhardt, and I'm the director of the Theodor Kocher Institute of the Medical Faculty of the University of Bern, and they're also professor for immunobiology. I learned about the European funding opportunities right when I started here in 2003 as a director, because Madalena Tognola from Euresearch came to introduce herself back then with Susanne Feiling to help me understand the Swiss system and how we can have European funding. I found out about calls of the European Union by colleagues, but also repeatedly by Euresearch. Once they understood our research profile, they were training us to look exactly at the right sites from the European Union. So the type of funding when I started here at the University of Bern, which is long ago, 2003, was the small integrating project and the large integrating projects. Back then, there was not what we know now, the ERC funding available in that way. So I was always with the help of Euresearch, but also on the advice of senior colleagues looking into these programs. So the value of being a member in a European consortium is very, very high. It's not only about the money, but it's very important and helps you to establish your network in the European Union with the European partners. So you know them as a younger colleague, you get a standing, you're known, and people will then start to seek your advice. And it's also very good for your lab members who can then exchange between the different countries and the different institutions without already leaving for a full year or 2 years, so just a short stay. So the secondments, as they're called, are highly valuable. It had an impact on our research focus. So we came originally from multiple sclerosis research, and we are experts in immune cell migration across the brain barriers into the CNS. And in MS, you focus very much on the adaptive immune system. And I was invited to join the European Stroke Network once I came here. And this shifted our focus or added a novel focus on stroke. And in stroke, this is a completely different set of immune cells entering the central nervous system. And it's about ischemia. And it's very interesting. Since then, we got a standing in the field and we continued. In my group, I always have people working still on stroke, and we have still some researchers in the Theodor Kocher Institute who continue in this track, and we collaborate with the Inselspital on it. So it has added another research focus to us. Now, on another hand, because I coordinated or participated in educational networks, so myself, I coordinated the B-Train network, and this has a huge impact at the Institute because it was setting, or in principle connecting, this international student network, adapting my students from the Institute in addition. So this was a huge group, added a lot of value with respect to education, but also personal networks. And it's very interesting. I'm following these students now, which are no longer students. These are junior group leaders in the meanwhile, and they're still connected. So they have built a friendship for life, and they embrace this and connect. I feel a little bit like the grandmother in the meanwhile, because they always get back to me. They start families, and it's still a science community, but also a friendship community. And this is very nice for me because you see that you have planted, in principle, plant that's growing and in contributing to brain barriers research. So it has really a very, very big impact, not only on me, but also on the Institute and everybody who was there. So not all applications are successful, right? And failure is failure for a moment, but then you read the reviews and you learn. And we always reapplied. So when there is the opportunity that you can go back the next year, we always tried the next year, and then not always, but very often we then were successful. My advice to early researchers applying to the EU is don't even think about coordinating a large integrating project. Participate in it because you will learn. And if you apply for the ERC, get help from senior researchers. And then if we are here at the University of Bern, get help from the grants office because they know how to write these grants. If you want to apply for an educational network or a large integrating network, it's not the network who's writing the grant. You have the full grant in your head, so to speak. You have the full idea. You know exactly the people, which expertise you have to bring in, and you are writing that grant. You give tasks to your colleagues, but you're writing. And with the ERC, I think there the same thing applies. There you write your own project, but you have to be at the same level. You have to have a crystal clear idea, and it has to be very bold and groundbreaking. Otherwise, you will fail. So the Euresearch network has supported us specifically over the years, as I mentioned in the beginning, in a fantastic manner. They introduced themselves to me. I didn't know when I started here that they exist. And it's really very valuable to get the support, about the calls during the election parts of in Switzerland, right, that kicked us in and out. Euresearch was absolutely essential because they kept track and were giving us the deadline. Like now, also for my last application for the ERC, it was Maddalena Toniola sending an email, go for it. And it was very short notice, but with all the help from the Euresearch and Grants Office, this was possible.